Alright, thank you very much. Hello everybody, it's your good friend Pozzible here, and I'm back in action with another look at another batch of movies that is coming to a theater this year. Now, I'm curious, are you guys ready? Because, it's the end of August, so it's the end of summer, and it's time to wrap up summer, while at the same time presenting you with movies that usually aren't quote-unquote summer movies. Are you back to school? Are you ready for your first test? Well, here it is. This is going to be a big test for theaters and movies in many respects to see what kind of movies come out on top and what kind fall through the cracks. So let's start off with our last real summer movie. Now, some of you may be wondering, gosh, Possible, isn't Pierce Brosnan's November Man next week? Isn't that going to be like the last summer movie? We'll get to that in a second, next week. But in the meantime, let's accept Frank Miller's Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, the sequel to Sin City, finally, as the last movie of the summer. To be official, you can call it November Man if you want, but let's not split hairs on this one. Here we finally have the sequel that we've been waiting for 9 years. As a matter of fact, in one of my previous posts way back in the day, a few months ago, I actually said that this movie was never going to happen, kind of like Cloverfield Part 2 or District 10. These are movies that just aren't going to happen. But this one actually pulled itself out, so it goes to show how much I know. We've been waiting a long time, been hoping a long time, been looking forward to this for a long time. What is Sin City? Well, it's just an interconnection of the seedy characters that inhabit Sin City. And, it's told with a very temporal imbalance. So sometimes you're ahead somewhere, sometimes you're behind everywhere. We noticed that when we were watching the first Sin City with Frank Miller. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't know if you have to see this one or not. A lot of people in this movie are people who were killed in the first Sin City. So I don't know if this is going to be a sequel, or a prequel, or a combination thereof. We're going to have to wait and see as time goes on. I'm looking forward to Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. I'm hoping it's just as good. I mean, it's got a lot of rated R violence with a lot of PG-13 nudity. And I'm hoping that they're able to change that this time around. Jessica Alba's stripper was very attractive, but the fact that she kept her clothes on wasn't that great of a stripper, let me tell you. But at least we had Carla. But she didn't come back for this one. Very upset with Carla on that one. And yes, I cannot pronounce her last name very well. Alright, moving right along. If I Stay. Now this is going to be one of the first big tests of this week. When it comes to If I Stay, we're looking at something along the vein of The Fault in Our Stars. It's more of a deep, moody, what's going to happen after we die, when we get hurt. What would we really choose? Would we choose the life of, pain and disablement, or do we just choose death? And that's a kind of a question she's encountering here. Chloe Grace Martinez plays a character who gets in a car accident. And now she's kind of in a coma, but of course she gets to walk around. Nobody can hear her or see her. Sound familiar? Well, it should. And now it's this question as she goes through her future and her past lives and remembers what her life was like, whether she wants to stay in it or whether she wants to leave in it. If I Stay is going to be one of those moody, depressing movies, tear-jerkers, if you will, that people enjoy. I don't know about this one yet, but it's going to be a test to see if not long after Fault in Our Stars, if a movie like this can really take off again. Is this something people want to see more of? Well, we're going to find out this weekend. And finally, another big test coming up. When the game stands tall, when it comes down to these kind of movies, this is a different kind of sports movie in my opinion. Even though, sports movies pretty much have the same vibe to them, this one has a different approach to it. You got the true story of I cannot pronounce it, of this football team. Boy, I need to do my homework before I start these things, I guess. It's one thing to be the underdog. And it's the one thing to start that humongous game plan where you just win all the time. And this is one of those situations. But this is at the end of it now. After a 151 winning streak, this team finally loses. And it's amazing how everything just seems to change internally, externally, and what brought about their end, their fall, how they finally came back down, and what they can do to pick themselves back up and get themselves back in the game and everything. I guess in a way, it's one of those things where we always ask ourselves, we always see those movies where the underdog is trying to make their way into their competition, and they know they don't stand a chance, but in the end of the movie, in the last second, they're able to actually win the game and be a champion. Well, now we are looking at it from a different perspective. You've been champions for a long time. You're no longer the underdog, you're now the team to beat. And finally, at long last, somewhere, somehow, someone was able to defeat you. And now you got to ask yourself that question: what happened? And how do you pick yourself back up again when you've lost? Heartfelt, tearjerker, sports, great combination. We've seen this before, but I'm looking forward to this one. I give this one a see it. I think it's going to be worthy. One of those motivational sports one we haven't seen in a while. We saw Moneyball, and we've seen other movies like The Light, but none of them have the heart that these kind of movies tend to pull out. At least I hope I do. Hope they do. Sometimes they take themselves too seriously, and it's too cheesy, and they try to pull out the quotes, and hoping they try to put in too much meaning into it. And they take itself too seriously. And that's when it kind of falls apart. But I'm hoping this won't be the case. I'm looking forward to this one. I think we got some real winners here. We definitely have some signs that the summer's over. It's time to get back to some more serious movies. Time to get back to the general je ne sais quoi of the time. Je ne sais quoi. Inappropriate comment, I'll admit. Alright guys, that's it for me today. We'll see you at the theaters.